the crisis unfolding in Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, a federal high court in Ibadan has nullified the party's national convention held last November, ruling that it was conducted in defiance of existing court orders. The judgment bars the Turaki-led National Working Committee from parading itself as the party's leadership, leaving the PDP under a caretaker arrangement until a lawful convention is convened. Now, this decision is not just about procedure. It exposes the deep fractures within the PDP and raises broader questions about how Nigeria's political parties navigate internal democracy, legitimacy, and the rule of law. Conflicting court orders leading up to the convention had already revealed institutional weaknesses, and now the judiciary's intervention has sharpened the contest between rival factions. Now, at stake is more than just leadership titles. It is the credibility of Nigeria's opposition politics at a time when governance demands strong alternatives. Well, joining the conversation right now is Emmanuel Ogidi, is a Caretaker National Vice Chairman of the People's Democratic Party South-South. He joins virtually from Abuja. It's great to have you, sir. I still have my guest with me. Ataiwo Osoyintolu is still with me in the studio. And of course, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Magaji, is still with me, joining virtually from Kano. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Let me start with you. Chief Ogidi, I mean, with this recent development within the People's Democratic Party, how do you feel and where does that leave you?
Well, you see, it's not, we're not surprised because for some time now, the federal high courts have been doing damage to the judiciary. It's rather unfortunate. Only last week, Friday, we were also in a court in Abuja, we wanted to withdraw our case. She said she dismissed it. Because we have already gone to the appeal court, we thought that the courts they're in sync. Only for Ibadan again that to say we have already gone to appeal court. The justices in the federal high court should just stand down and wait for the outcome of the appeal. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I was told about law. That's what I was told by lawyers. It's unfortunate, and I've been listening to what Etienne was just saying. You know, allow the will of the people to walk. Allow the will of the people. The Supreme Court has said it's an internal affair, but the courts keep interfering in it. All because Wike is just running mad. What is going on? The man, they were just talking about INEC. How INEC took us 20 years back. This new INEC are joined.
Sir, are you suggesting, sir, that the Minister of the FCT is influencing the court decisions here?
He's influencing with the help of the APC government. Yes, now. The president employed him to do that job, and it did effectively for them. See, look, it's a multiple democracy. And PDP is the most viable of the and they want to destroy the PDP because they don't remember they destroy PDP. Look, let me tell you something. Since 1999, PDP is the only party that has been standing tall. And these other parties are not comfortable with it, especially the APC. So they are doing whatever it takes to destroy PDP, but they cannot. They don't go in at time because our party is grassroots based.
All right.
It's grassroots based.
All right.
Yes.
I would come back to you, sir. Let me, of course, go to the lawyer, the SAN. Thank you for still staying on the program. It's nice still having you. But I'd like you to break this down. All of this legal crossfire that we are seeing within the People's Democratic Party and its leadership. We know that the Turaki-led, will I call it faction, has said, you know, they will challenge this court ruling. But to the average Nigerian and to democracy or democratic politics in the country, what is the implication of this?
Once again, thank you very much. You see, sometimes when we're discussing these issues, I tend to be a little bit careful on them, not because I don't have the right to speak, But because as a lawyer, I mostly speak from my background. So it's actually, to be honest with you, these are issues that we shouldn't be here. We should be moving ahead for our own good. You know, what I just noticed that is going on in this country is that people just do things because of immediate gain. And people don't look at the future. Whatever you acquire, whatever you get, it ends with you. Or whatever is for the nation, it goes beyond you, beyond your family, beyond your state, and goes to the grassroots, to the nook and cranny of the nation. If democracy is gone simply because I want to become president or I want to remain in office to do my 2 tenures and I destroy a system that ordinarily my name should be written in gold that I sustain democracy. And now where we are now is what we are seeing. I don't want to join issue with PDP membership or whatever, but speaking from the point of view of morality, what is going on in this country is not the best for this country, to be honest with you. It's not the best. We can do better.
All right.
I don't know what is going on internally in PDP, but what is there is whatever and whoever is behind and is responsible that this party cannot stand and function well, I don't think is doing the nation good, or they are doing the nation good. But coming to the points, Claire, there were according to the judgment of the Federal High Court today, from what I gathered, there were 2 judgments which were already delivered by the same courts, probably in Abuja, and that the convention in Ibadan was carried out in contravention of those judgments. That is what the judge said today at the Federal High Court, and because of that, he declared that convention a nullity and an illegality. Now, what I understand as a lawyer is that when a judgment is delivered, of course, the law is clear; it takes effect, and it remains binding until set aside. But where there is an appeal, and the appeal is pending, and parties have knowledge of the pendency of the appeal, the proper thing to do is to await the outcome of the appeal, to find out what the appellate court is saying about it, so that you don't do anything that has the tendency of rendering nugatory the outcome of the appeal. For instance, the judgment at the trial court said, the leadership of the convention, the leadership of the Caretaker Committee is the extant leadership. Now, that judgment has been appealed against. Is it that one out of 2 things will happen at the appeal? Either the Court of Appeal to say, we affirm the judgment of the trial court, or the Court of Appeal will tell you that we have set aside that judgment. Okay. Now, when you now at the trial level make nonsense of that opportunity, or you don't give the Court of Appeal that opportunity to decide otherwise, and then you go ahead, and then the rest, which is the subject matter, for one reason or the other, is annihilated. It means that you have rendered nugatory whatever will be the outcome of the decision of the Court of Appeal.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's come back to the studio here. Before we go on break, Taiwo, I mean, you are, you're, of course, a public affairs analyst. At some point, you even ran for office as a candidate. I would like you to reflect on your experience, as a candidate in one of the elections and what we are seeing within the People's Democratic Party. Many have the opinion that, look, the problem within the PDP might have been avoided maybe a long time ago, the leadership issues, and that they allowed certain things fester for so long, and right now maybe it has matured, and that's why the crisis is happening. What's your take?
Now, unfortunately, we forget history, and I'll go back to history. In 2017, after the People's Democratic Party lost election, that was the then Goodluck Jonathan lost election in 2015, and we had a Buhari in government. There was a crisis, internal crisis in the PDP at that time. I was part of the party. If you remember, I started my political journey from the People's Democratic Party. And what is even painful is when I see a party like the PDP going down the storm. And if you remember that time, we had the same crisis. And the PDP also were crying foul of one-party system by APC. Let me remind Nigerians and the viewers that in 2018, there was a McAfee faction who was the chairman of the party and the Almodi Sheriff faction. And at that time, they had this kind of kangaroo division of, okay, let's take 65 for a particular person and 35 for another person. I can't really remember exactly. That crumbled the party to its feet in 2019 elections. And then before the party got its stands back to contest in 2019, and then by 2023, they had another wake-up. And then, unfortunately, the problem is that problem was not addressed in 2018, 2019. Was Wike the problem at that time? And that is the problem because they are chasing shadows. They are not chasing the real problem. The problem is leadership. The PDP is a party that would prefer that their candidate loses an election simply because they are not in sync with that candidate. It's a party that would rather go to court.
I'm sorry, just before we go on break, you made a very strong statement. Are you talking from your own personal experience?
I'm speaking from my personal experience.
As a candidate then?
As an aspirant then.
As an aspirant.
And I'm speaking for certain people, many people that have also been in the political waters with me. Many of my friends today can testify both in Lagos, Delta, Kogi, and many other states. And this is the same thing. They would prefer to go and sideline their own candidate in an election for an opposition to win.
All right, we'll go on our final break. When we return, of course, the show continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Before we wrap up, I would, of course, be bringing up Chief Emmanuel Ogidi. I'd like to ask you, sir, with everything that is happening within the People's Democratic Party right now, what next for your party? We know that the Turaki-led faction of the PDP has said it will contest all of this, but many Nigerians seem to be losing faith in the PDP, given the gale of defections that is even happening within the party. So what next for your party, sir?
Some Nigerians are losing faith. But the grassroots are not losing faith in us because I was also in my village recently. There were people in my village. Yes, the DVIPs are moving on and so on, but I believe they will come back. Because see what is going on. The red man said something very jammed. When we had that problem with Sharif, Sharif was also a snake in our midst, brought in by APC. So when the Supreme Court gave a judgment, that now went back to APC. Same thing's happening again. Wike is a mole of APC. It's unfortunate, but Wike was one of our strongest member. But because he lost the election, it was going and did what he's doing. It's unfortunate, but the truth of the matter is that we are going to do whatever it takes to get back the confidence of Nigerians. Because we believe that we are the main opposition and we have a responsibility to deliver on our mandate.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me also take the final thoughts of the SAN this evening. Mr. Ibrahim, your final thoughts, 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. And I'm not, just a little addition on what I said before. I'm not holding brief for PDP. But you see, there was a judgment, to my knowledge, by the Ibadan High Court that permitted PDP to go into convention. Now, I cannot see a situation where the same High Court of coordinate jurisdiction will now sit down, or will now sit and nullify a decision of a court of coordinate jurisdiction. That, to me, is an anomaly. But I'm not holding brief for them. They have not paid me to speak on their behalf. I just feel that we should be able to run this democracy in such a way that we will be able to leave something behind for the children and our children yet unborn, so that the system can move. It's not all about us now. We cannot have it all. We cannot eat it all. We should be able to leave a system that we can, even in our graves, we should be able to look back and say, oh, our children must be busy in Nigeria. But when we destroy the whole system now, we definitely will be living nothing other than chaos, anarchy, and probably doom for the nation. That is not good for democracy. For whatever reason, I think we should be able to understand, we should be able to balance how we move about this. It's not about us. My brother there, Taiwo, said the PDP has internal issues and that it is not even wicked. Of course, nobody should be talking about an individual. I am even when I'm talking, I am talking about the system, and I feel it's not. I'm not pointing accusing finger on a particular person. I just feel we can do better in democracy generally in Nigeria and as Nigerians. And why I'm saying so is because unless the system runs smoothly, whatever we have in mind and whatever we
really
accumulate and acquire, we'll go to no issue. That is not the point here. And
all right, sir. Thank you so much. We of course are trying to manage time. I sincerely apologize for interrupting you, but Taiwo, in 30 seconds, do you think that this is the end of the PDP?
PDP would need to do a triple work than what they've done in the past. It's going to be a long road for me. I've said it, I do not see them on the ballots in 2027. They are going to have a lot of crisis in terms of litigation. And finally, in respect to the amendment of the Constitution, I want the Senate ad hoc committee to sit down and legitimately readdress the issues that really concerns Nigeria in terms of elections, which are, one, result, fair and fair elections, and security at the poll. With those three factors, Nigerians will trust the system and will come out on election days to vote.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Taiwo Osoyintolu, it's been a pleasure having you this evening. I'd also like to say a big thank you. Emmanuel Ogidi is Caretaker National Vice Chairman of the People's Democratic Party South-South, joining from Abuja, and Magajimato Ibrahim, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Once again, thank you, gentlemen, for your time.